The boy's physique naturally differs significantly from that of girls. In their early years, boys' physical strength lags behind that of girls, as well as their flexibility. Over time, their physical strength increases, but their flexibility naturally decreases. Of course, there are methods to improve this. For instance, in ballet, there is a separate group for boys who receive training tailored to their physique. The same need applies to sports, especially combat sports. The primary sexual characteristics of boys are the penis and testicles. These are external visible features, but for now, that's enough for us. From birth, boys' brains develop differently, and they will be interested in different things, etc. This is an innate factor, but society also contributes to it. Boys don't randomly like cars, weapons, robots, etc. It's not because they are raised that way. Parenting simply supports their natural interests. In doing so, we help solidify children's gender identity. It is everyone's duty to act accordingly. Of course, if there is a boy who is not interested in these things, we should not look down on him either. There is nothing wrong with that. Every child is unique, and as a parent, you should be open-minded towards them. It is often said that boys have it easier than girls. This is not true. They may not have to deal with menstruation, but they have their own challenges. One such challenge is their gender identity. Of course, they are aware that they are boys, but they constantly question their own masculinity and that of other boys. There is nothing wrong with this. It is a completely normal development process that ultimately leads to a healthy, balanced man. Boys solely and exclusively want to measure their masculinity against other boys. Only the struggle against boys will ensure that they feel like men in the end. It's not even important for them to win the fight. Often, it's enough for them to do everything they can. This is a tough and lengthy process. It's actually a constant, 24/7 commitment. It entails continuous mental and emotional strain. That's why it's important to immediately remove those boys who are being bullied in class or school and relocate them elsewhere. Alternatively, we should teach them how to handle this situation. It is crucial to provide continuous supervision for boys, as things can easily go wrong. This is particularly true when they fight against girls. If a boy loses against a girl, it's as if the girl has questioned his masculinity. The greatest destroyer of gender identity for a boy is when a girl questions his masculinity. This is especially painful because, in other contexts like school, it will never happen. Or if it does, it won't have nearly as destructive an impact because it won't occur publicly in front of many people. If the boy were to win the fight, he won't be proud of it, and he won't talk about it. It won't make him any more respected. In fact, it can often have negative consequences. Let's not look down on this matter. There can be serious consequences. Just because the boy doesn't say anything or it's not apparent now doesn't mean it won't resurface in 10 years. There are specific cases where homosexuality, transgender identity, or asexuality develop in boys precisely because of such struggles. These can also develop naturally, but it matters whether they arise from trauma, specifically as a result of its healing, or through natural means. Obviously, the primary goal is to raise heterosexual children. By that, I mean that the two genders are meant to come together for procreation. This is the most natural state. Of course, there can be other innate sexual orientations, but their number is negligible compared to the overall size of society. A boy starts the struggle with many disadvantages. I have created another video about this. You can find it in the description. On one hand, it is unsportsmanlike, and on the other hand, it is unethical. Let's now specifically focus on the physical and mental development of boys. Puberty in boys typically begins between the ages of 9 and 14, while in girls, it occurs between 8 and 13 years old. However, boys' muscle development usually starts around 13 to 14 years old, while girls' development occurs around 11 to 12 years old. Therefore, boys of the same age are smaller and have less physical strength during this period. Their genital organs typically undergo rapid development starting around the age of 11. The first ejaculation, on average, occurs between the ages of 12 and 14. From this point, we can consider them sexually mature boys. The testosterone level in their brains increases rapidly. This intensifies their interest in girls. After the first ejaculation, daily or every other day masturbation becomes regular. This is completely normal and very healthy. Every boy should have their own room where they can take care of their intimate matters. During these masturbatory activities, they typically explore their fantasies. Beautiful girls, female classmates, and sometimes attractive female teachers are often included. Primarily, girls. So, during the struggle, they will come face to face with someone who is the object of their fantasies. Here, the specific person is not important. What matters is that she is a beautiful girl. She has beautiful breasts, a lovely smile, a delicate fragrance, and so on. Boys are very sensitive to physical contact, visual stimuli, and smells. Many boys experience their first ejaculation due to minor things. For one of my friends, it was when a girl grabbed belly from behind. For another boy, a kiss on the neck was enough. We also know cases where a subtle women's perfume caused it. If they are fighting each other, it is entirely possible for them to experience their first ejaculation during that time. There are examples of this. The ejaculation that occurs in such situations is incredibly humiliating and leaves an eternal wound in their soul. It may even lead to a change in their sexual identity, or later on, they may naturally seek rougher treatment in bed, and so on. If there is no ejaculation, only an erection, it is still very disturbing. Because during that time, the boy cannot concentrate on anything else. Of course, it can happen during a boy-to-boy match as well, but it doesn't have as much significance there. Because other boys also experience it, so it's not an extreme thing. But a struggle with a girl, contact with the opposite sex, that arouses sexual desire in him. He would want to get rid of this feeling, but he can't because he has to touch the girl, press against her hips, and so on. It's impossible for him to escape from this. You might say that he will get used to it eventually. But why should he have to get used to it? This is unethical. And it can cause significant harm. If he didn't have to struggle with a girl, such incidents would never occur. It's not good for the girl either, as eventually the horny boy will try to pin her down. It's humiliating for the girl as well. Just think, if they weren't athletes, when would they have the opportunity to touch each other like this? Never. So why do you expect them to do it here? This is sexual violence, a source of pleasure for pedophiles and many other disturbed individuals. It only causes harm to children, and serves no purpose. There's a video about this, see the description. Please stand against this harmful activity. It is not in the interest of either gender, especially boys. In youth, genders must be separated because of them, and in old age because of girls. It is in the best interest of all of us, for a healthy society.